Welcome back to SlantedChalk, where regular dads raising competitive junior athletes tell the truth about the grind. I'm Andy, and today is one we haven't done before. Most guests come on this show with one decision they've had to live with. The Cruz family has had to live with about four, and the last one is happening live right here on this episode. Lucky Cruz committed to the University of Houston at 14, then decommitted. He turned professional in October 2024, became the youngest touring pro in North America, made his first pro cut at the Bahia Open down in Mexico, and as of recently, he is being reinstated as an amateur. Tonight, on this episode, Lucky is signing with a college. Sitting next to him is his dad, Fred, who has been across the table for every one of these turns. Lucky, Fred, welcome to SlantedChalk.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining. What a day here, right? Almost full circle now.
Absolutely.
No doubt. We've come such a long way, especially from all the travel these last almost 2 years now since being professional. We've learned so much along the road and super happy to finally be going to university and showing people all the work and all the stuff that I've learned on the road.
Speaking of that, take us back. Let's rewind a little bit. You committed to the University of Houston when you were pretty young. What did that conversation look like inside your house when they came calling?
That Houston ordeal, we just didn't know. We didn't have the right information, and we didn't know what we were getting into. Golf is not like football, baseball, or basketball. It's a different ordeal, different personalities. It's one coach, one assistant, 8 players. Scholarships were different then. You had to fit into a team concept and a team scheme, and the goals of the individual plus the goals of the team. And then we didn't know a lot, but also I guess that made us a lot more cautious. The one thing that was comfortable about Houston when we did commit was when we went up to visit with Coach Diz. He knew everything about Lucky because he was following Lucky for a long time, and he was talking to his swing coach at the time, like Coach Tom, and he knew a lot. So we felt comfortable. We're like, wow, okay, this guy knows a lot about us. So we felt comfortable going there, right? So that was the comforting factor of it. But then as we get older, and I think the year that we matured into it, we got a new swing coach, and we started talking about things about Lucky and his ability, and where the schools are in when it comes to the players and promoting the players and the schedule and the tournament and those things.
It didn't fit.
It just didn't fit.
Do you think at that time it was more of one, you're really young, you're talking to a pretty big school with a lot of history. Do you think the excitement was more yes because of that, without really understanding what you were getting into?
Absolutely. I think especially for those first couple of months that we were talking to him, it was definitely a yes, let's do it. That type of.
Yeah, it was definitely a honeymoon buzz, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect way of explaining
It
it.
was a honeymoon buzz, but as we got our new swing coach, who, he coached at University of Lamar, his buddy was a coach at Arkansas, and he was talking about players and players' ability, and then asking me questions they asked the coach and all that stuff. Now we're starting to acquire the information that we need to ask that we never knew we had to ask from the beginning. So then when we started asking those questions probably the best way to describe it became red flags for us. So then that's what kind of led to us decommitting.
Walk us through that decommit. That had to be a pretty tough conversation.
Definitely kind of hurt the relationship there for a bit. To be honest, it still kind of has. We've dealt with a lot when it comes to the good part of talking and negotiating with coaches and the worst parts of talking and negotiating with coaches. Certain things could have been handled a lot better, in my opinion, which is another reason why I'm glad I'm speaking and saying it myself versus someone else saying it for me. And that's why the university we're going with now, their coach is very, I want to say he cares about the benefit of his player just as much as he cares about the university benefiting and his name benefiting versus only caring about his reputation. which is what most coaches kind of get lost in, and that's, I guess, this comes with going to a bigger school. But
And then for me, like, I won't get into details of it. If my son's on the other end of this and he had a bad day, is he going to be doing this to my son or the other athletes? And I do value the parents and I value the individual, and things get better. Lessons learned, right? Because even I grew from
Absolutely.
Just be adults and be able to handle it and move on. It's that type of, basically, it's that simple, really. But
Right.
most people can't do that. So,
right,
it's the reality of it. It is what it is.
right. So, but then like,
No, it's almost like you guys are going through the transfer portal now,
right,
right?
It's just-
From a lot learned.
right. That's exactly what it feels like in a
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
But it helped us learn, and it definitely helped me learn how to navigate in 2026, 27, or 25, 26, rather than 1996, 97, what we're used to, right?
Yeah.
Definitely different cultures. So, it's kind of funny how these things work, and the communities how it work, and the people that we talk to, and the coaches that we talk to, because once he turned professional, there was opportunity for these coaches to grab him and sign him before we went on tour. Because we said, okay, he got through Q school, shot 66 the last day. We're ready, coaches. And the coaches didn't say anything. They just said, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And it was like, "No, we want you to say, hey, we want him to go there. Let's go."
Right.
And it just didn't happen. So, and that, I give God the thanks, because without going through this, we wouldn't go to tour. We wouldn't gone on tour. We wouldn't have been in 9 different countries and experiencing what we experienced in 81 hours of flying and getting adjusted to Morocco, Cairo, South Africa. And, Lucky's, they're starting to know Lucky in Europe and other places, which is great for the resume going down the road.
I wouldn't take it back, ever. I've learned so much. Like I said, I've learned so much playing with other professionals and playing in some of the best and worst conditions and having to deal with it regardless. And people doubted it at first. They're like, "Oh, why is he doing it? There's no point." That was the point. And you're just kind of seeing it pay off now. My game's in a good spot. I'm comfortable. And we're now signed to a university. So there's just a lot of doubters, a lot of haters that kind of had doubted my process and what we've been doing. It's how it is. You just got to prove them wrong.
But you've been living with that, I would say, your whole life, right? Is that your fuel?
Absolutely. I've dealt with it my entire life since playing golf. Just kind of dealing with how disingenuous people are, especially, surprisingly, the kids that my age. Like, they didn't really have the best intentions when it came to what I was doing. And I always try to be there for other people when I can, but just kind of dealing with that and just maturing. And there are grown men also hating on me as well. That's all right. It's how it is. But if you don't have enough haters, you're doing something wrong. So
No, I think a lot of guys find out for themselves when they actually play with Lucky. I'll give you an example, like US Open qualifier and Red Hawk in New Mexico. When we got through, 7,400 yards, 30-mile-an-hour winds. He's playing with a guy from professional, went to New Mexico State. He's playing with another guy from University of New Mexico. And he had some teammates coming to watch him, and the teammates ended up watching him hit a mini driver off the deck, off the tee for 15 of those holes. And I got to watch it firsthand because I watched the reaction of these guys when they first got there. And then at the end of the round, they were just like shaking their head. They're like, "Yeah, he can go." And it was just like,
Right.
I didn't have to say anything, but it was a mutual respect that I was very thankful for.
playing in that type of weather with that type of winds, I played in similar conditions in Mexico for a little while and in Morocco, which again goes back to me learning from playing professionally. If I didn't play in those tournaments with that wind, I wouldn't be able to handle it as easily as I did in New Mexico.
Mhm.
Obviously, it paid off, so we're heading to New York pretty soon. We're excited for that, and kind of.
Is that where you're doing your qualifier, the 36 in New York?
In New York, yeah, Century, New York.
What was the ultimate decision where you thought, you know what, maybe there is an opportunity to, one, go back to amateur, and then two, let's go play college golf?
It was really when the war happened. We were overseas playing on the Minotaur out in the Middle East, and we had just finished the tournament in Morocco, and that's when the bombs started flying, and it was pretty much right by us, so we had to come home, and they canceled the rest of the events, and we had to come back home. And on that plane ride, it was quite a long ways back home. We took 4 different flights to get back home because of what was going on. And me and my dad and my family started contemplating, because now there's really no tournaments for me to play in at the moment. And my dad and my family put so much time into spending money on tournaments, on travel, on lodging, that they couldn't focus on their own household and being able to handle what was going on back home. So that was one of the factors. That was one of the big factors on why we wanted to turn back into amateur and play college, because number one, I have been bouncing around public courses for the last 2-3 years, but people don't know that. They just see me on Instagram at a couple courses that my coach teaches at or something like that. But another factor that college plays in that is being able to have access to great facilities and being able to practice at a good place consistently versus kind of bouncing around trying to figure things out, which is what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And I'm happy I've been able to have the results that I've been having with what I have, and I'm super thankful for it. But it's just that level of access that I need, especially having a team around me where I can kind of push myself with those other teammates. So it just seemed like the right decision, and we talked about it for a bit, and we pulled the trigger on it. And
this is about Lucky, and this is about Lucky's journey and Lucky's growth. So like I said before in our last conversation, like as dad and parents, like, are we doing enough? And are we doing everything we can for him to grow as an individual golfer and in his profession? Right. And when the bombs started flying and we saw some of the opportunities starting to go away, I mean, 6 events. And a lot of those 6 events, I mean, Chris Wood, who was the point leader in our tour, he won the Italian Open recently, right? And he's going back to the DP World Tour. He played on the Ryder Cup. I mean, we're playing with DP World Tour guys. And it's like, how much fuel and energy and money do you have to go in and keep going? And then the bombs start flying. Everything started getting more expensive. So, you know, right. When it gets more expensive, you're like, well, we only account for this. Now we have to account for 20% more of this and this and this, or we need to move to internationally. So then, you know, him going to school, having the community of friends, being able to practice, being able to develop, being able to grow with the amount of knowledge and the amount of tournaments and the things that he's done already. You know, it's funny. I ask a lot of these coaches this, like, how many guys on your team can get through Q school, you know, right now? Because we've been through 4 of them and we've been to the final stage in all 4. So that says a lot. Right. So for him to take that with 21 events, he's made his last 5 cuts, getting in the US Open, he's trending well. Like, I think he could benefit and the university can benefit. So this is just a perfect time. And then this allows us to kind of get our house in order and get things in the right place.
So would you say that you had to drop some egos to make this decision, or this decision was actually the right decision for you, has nothing to do with ego?
I'll answer. This was based off the benefit of my family and the benefit of myself. If anything, we benefit from this more than what we were doing overseas, because of the things we can do, not just in college, but as an amateur. There's a lot of opportunities as an amateur, especially with US Amateur, Junior Amateur, all the different types of opportunities that we have here in the States now with college that PGA and the university has been presenting to us. I wouldn't say it's a drop in ego at all. Not at all. And that's inevitable, right? I mean, especially, like I said, the amateurs, right? So they're going to look at that and say, oh, he couldn't hang with the professionals, or, oh, they just couldn't handle the pressure. It had nothing to do with that. I had missed a cut this season. It more had the reason was, like I said and my dad said, bombs started flying, we were overseas, and we had to come home, and the opportunity presented itself, and we took advantage of it. Simple.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think and look, for me, I know people have a misnomer about the ego thing, but there is no ego when it comes to your child. Like, I want him to do great. And if he does great now, awesome. If he does great after he goes to school and he wins a championship and all that, great. But Is he moving forward? Is it in a positive direction? And is it everything that he wants? And is he happy? That's all I care about. Right. And that's where my ego would be, is like, I would boost about his happiness. Right. And I can confidently say that when we were touring for the last year and a half, he was happy out there. Like, he was in his element. You know, like, it's hard. It's a grind. But I mean, like 30-mile-an-hour winds, Morocco, the cut's +4. He was +5 at the turn, and he was at 12, and he shoots 3 under to make the cut. 30-mile-an-hour winds, 2,543 yards, so 7,543 yards in Morocco. You're playing with DP World Tour guys. A lot of DP World Tour guys did not make the cut. He makes the cut. You know, that's a huge advantage of and boost of energy. Like, he has what it takes. It's just, you have to have enough energy to sustain yourself to go. And it's mom and dad LLC pushing this. You know what I mean? It's not like, we're not sponsored by, Sports 5 or Hembrick or all those. We would love that. But, a lot of guys are blessed to have an agency that's pushing behind them and has money invested into them. And it's difficult to do it on your own, really.
Yeah. My dad and my family have sacrificed so much for me, when at some points maybe they didn't have to, but they did because they wanted to see me benefit. And that's what people don't understand, that this has nothing to do with my dad's ego, my family's ego. They've sacrificed so much for me and putting their ego to the side for me, for my benefit. So definitely. No, I think it's been a very big misunderstanding when it comes to what my family has done for me, and kind of how my dad's been misunderstood for the last couple of years. And I'm glad I can speak on it now, because people just kind of see my dad and see me behind him, and I kind of stay quiet. But
right.
Yeah, no more of that. I'm just here to play golf, and my dad's doing the best that he can to make sure that I can play golf.
If you can go back to the decision of turning pro, knowing what you know now, would you still have turned pro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the only other option would be playing the same events as an amateur. And obviously, if we weren't professional, we wouldn't know about those tours and about those tournaments in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, once again, those experiences that I've had, playing in those conditions, playing in different countries, on the road constantly, knowing what it's like to having to figure it out on the road. Most amateurs, most guys don't know what that's like until they get past college. So being able to experience that now is great, because now I can come to college and kind of get a breath of fresh air when it comes to travel, when it comes to training. I wouldn't take it back at all, ever.
Yeah, and it's something it's so much harder. I mean, look, Q school is hard. How you manage Q school is hard. How do you manage your body? How do you protect your body? How do you how do we adjust to conditions? How you got to eat. It's 2:00 in the morning. We just landed in Egypt. We got to eat. I mean, we're eating chicken shawarmas at 3 a.m. in the morning. We got to get up at 9.
Never a bad thing.
No. And then we got to get up at 9 for a practice round, and we got to find him a caddy, and all these experiences that he has, it adds to his mental, his mental game, his experience, his resume, like all those things he can lean on. Like, all of a sudden now a U.S. event is not as grandiose or stressful to him anymore. Like, right? Like, it's just not that big of a deal. Like, sometimes, it gives you a really good perspective,
And so when you decided, hey, we're going to go back to amateur, take us through the steps. How do you do that?
A lot of paperwork and a lot of
paperwork, a lot of emails, a lot of talking to people.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when he said yes, I contacted the RNA, because we were playing internationally, and the DP World Tour has a ticker with players, and they had Lucky's name there with the ticker, and it said international players. So I'm like, oh, okay. Let me contact the RNA. They were really, really helpful. They answered our questions. They emailed me back within 24 hours, and then we talked on the phone. He wasn't under their jurisdiction, so we were directed to the USGA. So the USGA, we had to email them, fill out the application. You have to pay $200, and then you wait for the respond to the email. So within 10 days, they finally responded. They said what we can't and we cannot do as an amateur. There's some rules. The status that he's currently in is called AR, which is amateur reinstated. It's not fully reinstated until September 15th. Now it's NCAA. Right. So you go back to the clearinghouse, re-up the number, make sure everything's up to date. So the NCAA came back. We lost a year of eligibility, so we have 3 years. And
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because of him playing as a professional. So we lost a year, but we might gain it back with the 5-and-5 rule. And then the NCAA gave it back, his amateur status back, so he can play. And then the USGA came back and we met, and they were like, we're gonna help you facilitate this process and make it smooth for Lucky. Just abide by our rules.
Lucky, you're sitting here as a reinstated amateur. You got a college decision in front of you, and the audience is listening. Why don't you tell us? Give us.
We've been contacted by Baylor, Eastern Michigan,
Sorry.
UNLV, Texas State. All right, I'm going to stand up for this, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
We have been negotiating for the last, I would think, month or so with different universities.
Yeah, 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
And we went on a couple visits, and one stuck out to me the most, and it's very close to home as well, close to my family. My family has a history there, and coach, very down to earth, very nice, and he wants to see me benefit, and I hope I can help benefit the team and the university as time goes on. And it is Texas State. I'm going to Texas State.
Pac-12, baby.
Where my mom and my dad got married. And
Wow.
I am super excited to be working with Coach Howell. And we are looking forward to what we will be able to accomplish, especially with them moving into the Pac-12.
That's right.
And we are super thankful for the opportunity that they presented to us. Thankful to God, thankful for my family, for what they've done for me. And we are excited to move forward.
So,
I'm excited to move
so
forward.
here's the papers we're going to sign. So of the initial letter, you see that, right?
Yep.
And then, of
Don't
course,
let me see too much.
Yeah.
It's sensitive information there.
right. And then here's of course, our scholarship documentation. So then he's going
The
to,
wind's blowing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
so he's going to sign it for you guys.
I'm not going to show my signature because I don't know if the AI can forge it.
No, you're going to sign right there,
Right there. Is it right here or is it?
right here. You have
And
initial-
so you won't be reinstated until September 15th. I know a lot of schools are going to be reporting mid-August. Some might even have tournaments at the end of August. Does that mean you're not eligible for that first tournament?
No, so we have to contact the USGA. We have a tournament on the 15th, exactly on the 15th. That's our first tournament.
Texas State does.
Yes. So, which is great. We're inside the allotted window. So we're going to email the USGA. They'll work with coach to make sure that he can play.
Right.
Just the question was it going to be before? Was it going to be in August? Right. And they don't
Right.
don't start playing until September 15th. So, that's another blessing. It just like, how things, when they work out, all these things just line up, and God kind of closes one door, but he opens the other. And when he opens the other, he opens that door, the back door, the front door, and then everyone starts coming in. And it was just like, wow. It was one of those moments where you're like, take this opportunity.
Sorry. But yeah, like my dad said, we're super excited and the opportunity just kind of fell into place. It just all made sense. And the campus over there is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. And as you were saying,
It's an hour and 40 minutes from the house.
Okay.
But, to be honest with you, they'll be in the Pac-12 and they'll be traveling and playing. And, it's, the incredible idea. It's a small town environment and a small town feel. Everyone knows each other, but you're in the Pac-12, and
Right.
I tell people all the time, if you know anything about sports, especially when there's 5 real big conferences, right? There's SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and the Pac-12, right? When you talk about TV and talk about the grandiose of things of, Andy, how we grew up watching sports. So there's history in the Pac-12, and I think he could do well there. I think they can win a Pac-12. I think he has a chance to compete and try to win an NCAA, and, but the beauty of this is at his own speed, on his terms, his speed. He's just taking the work ethic and everything that he's learned with him. And, you know,
So I'm assuming you're not going to be with your camper outside of Texas State, outside of his dorm, are you?
nope, nope. So funny thing, Andy, I have a daughter, Lion. You know who she is. She wants to race
Right.
go-karts. And yes, so that's a big deal. So now my focus is going to be on her racing go-karts and the next thing, right? While Lucky's
The
out
next
there.
thing. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, but no, I think look, Lucky's in really good hands, and that's what I've been trying to tell a lot of these coaches is like, you don't understand. If I feel confident, and we've had this discussion in the earlier podcast, if I'm giving you a man, I got to respect you and trust you to raise another man and keep your eye on him, right? And that's Coach Howe.
Lucky, what does the next 12 months look like for you? You're going to be an incoming college freshman with a different resume than anybody else. How do you walk into
My
that?
head held high and my eyesight looking forward. All I'm going to be doing is becoming the best player that I can be. And hopefully the results can show. And that's the goal. Honestly, I'm not there to boast about being a professional for the last year. I'm there to put in work. I'm there to grow with the team and get better.
Absolutely. You're definitely going to have a different story in that locker room. There's a kid listening to this right now who's being told he should turn pro early. What do you want him to know?
Tell him that it's a grind. Learn as much as you can. It'll definitely make you a more mature player very quickly. You know, you can't be going around, bouncing around 5 different swing thoughts in one round because you're playing for money and you're playing for your livelihood. And it taught me to keep things simple and to kind of unthink. And being on the road, I tell you, I've been across the country 3 different times, maybe even more. I've been to multiple different countries. I've experienced a lot with my family. And it's fun. It's really fun.
Just chase it. If your heart desires it and you're passionate about it and you love it, just go and just keep going and just don't look back. When opportunity presents itself, you take advantage of it and you learn from it. And I think the best thing that I can advise a mom and a dad is we don't know everything. Just grow with your child and experience it with your child because it's just an incredible journey. And if we approach it like we know everything, it's just going to bite you on the butt.
Perfectly said. Gentlemen, I appreciate you doing this. Congratulations to you, Lucky. We're definitely going to be watching out for you. We'll definitely be rooting for you. You can't want it more. This is to all the dads and the parents out there.